kids in kindergarten, waking up at the same time. And in the evening, you know, when we used to grow up, at least for lower classes, used to go to around 12:30. And then after that, you are free so that you can also play, because there is a life outside education. And professors of mathematics are not necessarily the richest people in the country, though they know how to count money. But you find them even counting some up.
That we can be rich.
No, my brother. So what we are saying is that there is a life outside a classroom. And that these kids, yes, academics, and these kids need really to develop both socially and also academically. And where the problem started, though I support what Amina is saying, let us have a time frame. But Mluka have just said, and my friend, that is very intelligent, that sometimes the temperatures can affect, just like what happened in Europe, where there is a winter, where the people, that is when now classes are concentrated because everybody is almost in class, but holidays are concentrated on summer because people now can move outside. So what we are saying is that she should actually try to have an informed policy decision. And where the problem started was when we started privatization of our public universities, where a parallel degree program began. I remember I was in the University of Nairobi at that time. I was a SONO chairman, and I was suspended for the same. Because at that time, now public universities had now to have customers, because now they are doing private business. Now to get those customers is to make sure that there are people who pass in Form 4, in Class 8, so that you get the customers. And there where leakages started and other issues of considering marks, you overburden our kids so that they can get these requisite marks so that they can join the University of Nairobi and other public university. And the moment so many are qualified with C+ and above, only a few available positions for regular program. Now the rest who feel they are qualified, though they are not qualified because they had only leakages and the exam being even a bit cheaper so that they can pass, and then feel they are also qualified to pursue degrees in the university. Then the university now got the customers, and that's where they capitalize on.
Okay. All right. And well, education, I think, is a subject we probably can discuss for a very long time, because, again, there is also an upsurge of universities, and one is left with the question as to whether academics is all that drives us as Kenyans. What happens to the technical college? What happens to the, you know...
We just go back to the Ominde report of 1964-65. Professor Simeon Ominde and his task force that sat for close to 2 years to give us transition from the colonial education to the right kind of education for an independent nation had it spot on. We have since gone on and done, I don't know, the Kamunge report, the Koech report, the McKay report, and all these are experiments. The Koech report, for example, sits on the shelves, it has gathered dust.
Has not been implemented.
It's not been implemented because it is unworkable. When we got independence, we asked ourselves, what kind of education do we need? How do we bridge between education and industry? There's the labor market, there are countries' development needs. Because right now, we are even doing education in a vacuum. Once in a while, you hear us talking about Vision 2030, and which must be considered to be a very narrow vision, because today, 2018, 2030 is only 12 years away. We cannot use that as the visionary index for setting up education. If we ask ourselves even about the kind of philosophical principles that underpin the kind of education that we are trying to give our children, we should be thinking about Kenya in 50 years, in 100 years, and asking ourselves what kind of technical personnel that we require to take the country to that kind of destination, and therefore develop a broad-based curriculum that addresses that. The Ominde report in 1964-65 had it spot on, and that is where we ought to go. Not these guesswork of a populist nature, that people in Jogo House wake up each morning and they come and tell us we go this direction, we go that direction, without trying to understand what those who gave us the original architecture of our education had in mind.
Okay, and I guess that would take us to a point where we ask the question on leadership, although we will not answer that question now because that's where we'll be going after the break. And that is to do with the fact that we seem to have so many reports done for different things, not just education. Look at the TJRC report, which was done and again put on a shelf, and we just seem to not be able to, you know, put some of those recommendations into practice. So one wonders why we even start with the report. But anyway, that's a different discussion. And on the Daily Nation, just before we take a break, we have the headlines: pills that are turning you into an addict, and apparently not everything in the doctor's order for you is good for you. And take your copy of the Nation and see what the headline is all about and how you need to secure yourself. For now, we want to take a short break, but do stay with us right here on Morning Express. When we come back, we'll be looking at the Building Bridges initiative, and according to State House, they did mention that there is no cabinet reshuffle. There was rumor that there could be a cabinet reshuffle, but apparently it has been a rumor all through. Is it something that's necessary? We do know that the president is also scheduled to visit Nyanza with Raila Odinga, and well, we'll be weighing in and seeing whether that is giving us the right direction in terms of Building Bridges initiative. And remember, tomorrow marks exactly 1 year when Kenyans went to the polls. We'll be right back with Political Point right here on Morning Express.
This is KTN News.